get clapped. I'm just kidding.
Crapton more like.
Is this your sleeping bag?
I got a way to start it off. Oh, it would help if this microphone was actually turned up.
Crapcast. Conspiracy theories. Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby.
Pedo popes.
Pedophiles.
Can I do it, Alex?
You sound like the announcer from Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Like the Modern Warfare.
Can I hit us with it? One time?
If you... He feels the need to do that every time we start a podcast.
That's like our intro.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Kinda. I made that noise in a really angry way when I was losing in a multiplayer.
Oh yeah.
Pass me that notebook.
That was stimulating in terms of an audio.
Oh, well, it's caught on something.
Oh no, everything's broken now.
And
You know what else is
yeah,
broken?
This is episode 9.
Is it episode 9?
Yep.
What is it, Star Wars?
Yep.
Yeah, basically.
And Angelo's here.
Angelo is here. Hi, Angelo.
Hello.
Welcome to the Crapcast.
Thanks for having me here, Billy.
Even though, like, this is probably just going to be between us. To be honest.
Yes. This is our intro.
Yeah.
I don't even sound like this.
Yeah.
Is it
Ah.
the 15th or the 16th?
Today is the 15th. Oh, crap. I'm going to have to edit that out. You can't say the word.
Well, if it's just us, I mean.
Now, one day when we're famous,
Nigga.
we'll release this podcast. Controversies around it, guys.
Can we cuss?
Define cuss.
Every word ever that is not
Yeah,
supposed to be
I'm not a
said.
fan of it personally.
Misogyny.
Misogyny is fine.
Very well.
Woman beating.
Saying the word misogyny is fine. Splice.
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 The movie Splice.
That was a bad movie.
I'm glad I'm not the only person that writes in cursive.
Yeah, that was my, like, sort of... Like, the first part is, like, my goals to have done by the time my 2-week vacation is off. And the daily one, I completely kind of missed. I didn't do anything. Well, actually, I did a little bit of the first one, and I've done nothing of the second. So...
Angelo, how are you enjoying your second day here?
Absolutely terrible. I want a refund.
Yeah,
Shit.
it was the Halo match. It was those 2
I'm
matches
kidding.
in Halo.
Yo, no, this is going great. I'm glad we're waking up early, kind of, somewhat.
Yeah, y'all are. My fat ass is like, ow.
Yeah, we need to wake up at like 4 o'clock
No.
Yes.
tomorrow.
Yes.
Angela, you and me.
Yes.
Waking up at 4 o'clock.
Once y'all can spoon me and say moist.
Yes.
Yes, actually.
You
We
said,
will get
You
a
just
spoon.
you just gave us ideas. That wouldn't have happened if...
No, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a spoon and we're gonna
Shit.
cover it in water. We're gonna let it dry for like 5 minutes and then we're gonna rub it on your face, saying, "Moist, moist,
We're going to make it real warm.
moist."
We'll make sure to get a very
Johnny
slimy...
doesn't like the word moist.
a
For
very,
those of you that are listening.
A very slimy tentacle, like Great
well,
Mine's
we have
tentacle.
our one listener, so now no one is listening.
True. That's true. Yeah, Angela, we've made the joke like you're our only listener on the
Like you're the only
Crapcast.
person who listens to it.
If you'd like, before you leave, we can actually like,
Show you some of the older ones.
well, like what I can do is I can put them on your phone, like all the episodes. That way you can just like listen to the shitty conversations we've had in the past,
Very
and
well.
watch how like our character has developed up until now.
Very well.
Because what I do is I'll write down not necessarily what we're going to talk about, but what we've already talked about.
Yeah, why don't we go over some of the stuff we've talked about already in the past? Like
Oh,
in
in
past
previous
episodes.
episodes.
Yeah,
Which episode? We have 1 through 9. Pick a number.
let's go.
You had 9?
This is the 9th one.
Oh.
This is the 9th one ever.
Is this a giant trackpad?
It's what do you mean by trackpad?
Like...
Like you can draw on it.
Oh, okay.
Just, you know.
I opened up to the very first one, all the way back in May.
All the way back in May.
Damn it, John, you made me yawn.
Mm-hmm.
Yawning's contagious.
That was 3 months ago.
Contagious.
Mm-hmm. May 22nd.
Actually, wait. 2 months ago. I'm stupid.
So which one? 1 through 9. Give me a number.
2.
second episode.
Very well.
We covered video games, military using video games, marijuana, cigarettes, cigars, vapes, the mind, Jesus, good versus evil, more conspiracy theories. We tried to tie Star Wars in with religion, but it didn't, or Star Wars versus religion, but it didn't quite work. Drinking, and we talked about emotions.
How do you tie Star Wars into religion?
I don't know.
Well, like you were trying to
Jediism.
From what I remember, Johnny, you made the point that the Force was like analogous to God in some way, or something like that. Or
yeah. My analogy was that the Force is like God, and you have two major groups of people, being the Jedi and the Sith, and rather than follow what God wants, they use God to get what they want, which is what the Jedi what the Jedi and Sith do with the Force.
Yeah, which is an interesting point.
Like what the Catholic Church did back in the day.
Facts.
Probably still does to this day.
Yeah.
They tell people. Well, before it was easier because not everybody had a Bible, and like the priest did.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
sir.
Yeah, the priest was like the resident monarch of the given village or area.
God said that you must tell me every secret you have and give me all your money.
Yes, in that order. Confession and money.
Also, I can blackmail you in the name of God.
Dave's vote. Yeah. It is interesting though how people try to twist sort of the moralistic message of Christianity in such a way where like they take advantage of them in a material way, even though that's not even the point of Christianity.
Yeah.
There was one we talked about our 5 favorite singers or groups, and you had Bill Gaither, Nobu Uematsu,
Koji Kondo.
Breaking Benjamin, and the Black Dahlia Murder.
At the time, yeah.
In mine, let's see, I had Bruno Mars, I had Fozzy.
Fozzy Osbourne.
Yeah,
Now, is it Fozzy or is it Fotsy?
Fozzy.
Because pizza.
Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Doobie Brothers, and Stevie Wonder.
I don't know if I can name 5.
Yeah, well, what would be like, in your opinion, Angelo, like if you were to say, what's one of your favorite artists at the moment? Who would it be?
Oh, dang. Well, my top favorite artist of all time.
Can I guess?
You can guess.
Josh Turner.
No. How do you not know it's my favorite band?
Need to Breathe.
Hell yeah, boy.
Need to Breathe.
Need to Breathe is my favorite band.
Yeah, boy. I need to listen to them more. I listened to like 2 of their songs and I was like, oh, this sounds actually pretty cool.
They make some pretty decent music. I mean, like they have certain songs that just don't sound like it's them anymore. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And I think those songs are great. They released them as singles when they did release them, and then I think eventually they integrated them into one of their albums.
What genre of music do they do?
Country rock and rock, I believe.
Country rock.
Ish.
Country rock. You know, the weirdest artist who probably ever existed or exists right now is Kid Rock. He has done rap, he has done rock and roll, and he has done country music and had successful hits in all of them.
I remember them, Need to Breathe, they were like, originally when they started, since they were played on Christian radios because they had like a few Christian songs,
Yeah.
they were considered a Christian country rock band, and they didn't want to like accept that title because then it would like
Ostracize them.
it would keep them like it would keep their fame level down, I guess.
What's weird though is that it's weirdly easy to be successful as a Christian musician in the sense that
There's not that many.
well, not only that, but also like there's a certain devoted fan base that comes with the genre.
Yeah.
Where if you're a Christian musician, it's like these Christians will listen to you and their selected chosen few bands that they deem, worthy enough for their ears.
Toby Mac.
Yeah, because
I forgot the Newsboys.
and that's solely because of something like religious manipulation.
My God's not dead. How many times have you heard this song?
Yeah.
many.
Well,
Too many.
because like, in your opinions, what do you think is like the worst genre of music? Because I have a hot take. I have a hot take.
K-pop.
K-pop, that's what I was going to say. That is legit what I was
Really?
about to say.
Kim Jong-un did a very good job at banning it.
He banned K-pop.
That's the best thing he's ever done in his life.
I was gonna say modern contemporary Christian music is my least favorite genre of music, despite being like a flaming Christian. Like, I despise it.
Well, it all sounds the same.
Not only that, it's not only generic,
River flows.
but like it's very egocentric.
Jesus knows I love him. Like, that could be like 10 songs.
Like, it's very egocentric, and I saw this like really long documentary by this YouTuber called Become the Night. He mainly does like rock and metal videos, but he did like this almost like investigative piece on contemporary Christian music as a genre, and apparently like there's been like a case where like there was a very popular keyboardist for a Christian band. He didn't know how to play piano in real life. It was all studio musicians, and he was just a front. And like on sound checks and shit, when they would ask him to play, like he couldn't. Like, he actually couldn't play, and it's all just smoke and mirrors.
No way.
Speaking of smoke and mirrors.
So he's like me, basically. Like, I can, on Ableton...
Oh, no, you can actually play, though. Like, especially guitar.
Well, guitar, yeah, but, like, if you give me a keyboard, I can't. Like, I have no idea what I'm playing. I'm just playing random notes.
Same.
Because I know that if you skip, you skip one key between each finger, you'll make a chord, most likely. So...
Mm-hmm. But no, I was gonna say Christian music, like Christian artists, are the #1 buyers of like fog lights.
Get closer to the mic.
Fog lights and smoke machines and things like that.
Mm. Yeah, no, that's because it's literally all smoke and mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that, because one of the things that Paul talked about in the New Testament, is like, and I don't mean to get like preacher or anything.
You gonna get preacher?
But like, well, because it pisses me off, because like back in the ye olden days of like the first century, like they had a power of their own. They didn't rely on to put it in Paul's words, like men's wisdom, like clever lyrics, clever antics, showy shit. Like there was a heart and soul that was to the things that they did, to their ministry. And it's like now it's like it's all just shit, It's a lot of shit.
They kind of like just copy and paste.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just put a very long, like chorus. Yeah. Or no, sorry, they'll make a short chorus.
Bridge.
Yeah, a bridge that they can repeat over and over and over again, and just intensify the chords.
Look at Oceans.
Yeah.
That has like 3 notes in it, so that it's easy to sing along to, because you got to get the people singing along, feeling the spirit, whatever shit that means.
On the water. What does that even mean?
The water's a metaphor for like the sea of life, and he's calling you out of life.
We're not gonna break down Oceans.
I honestly, I'm not too sure what I'm talking about right now.
Feel the spirit, hallelujah.
Yeah, and it's really just like the vibes from the song.
Yeah.
And
like I can make a song about like, I don't know, killing babies, and with the same
sound emotional.
And make it sound super emotional, and then just intensify the chords.
Do it, yeah.
Like Tobuscus' dramatic song. Mm-hmm. The lyrics are just nonsense, but it sounds dramatic.
I can kill babies, hallelujah. Oh, I can kill them. I will rip their spines out of their mouth.
Rip their spines out. Come on.
Rip and tear until it is
You better
done.
preach.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Like, it just frustrates me because, like,
spines of the baby.
Like, every now and then I hear,
use
like,
them as a whip.
really good Christian music.
To whip the baby.
And then other times it's just, like, a total flop.
That's what the babies do when they die. They
hit
flop.
the ground, yeah. They bounce off the ground. They kind of flop around a little bit.
They explode.
No, only the autistic ones.
The autistic babies explode.
Yes.
They're spontaneously...
I may have to edit that part out.
We may not just ever post this, but that's okay.
True.
You know why?
Because we're gay. Wait, hold on, what?
Because...
No.
No.
No, stop. Future me. Future me, edit this right here.
Oh my gosh.
God.
I feel like if we ever became like famous, you know. Well, at least a semi-popular podcast. We get a lot of backlash for a lot of things. It's like, dude, who cares, man? Like, it doesn't.
That's what we should call the podcast. Screw the Crapcast. Let's just call it Backlash.
That's the name of a wrestling thing.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I don't want to.
Now we'll call it cancel.
No, because
we'll get canceled.
They call it WWE Backlash.
Yeah.
So if the word backlash is not copyrighted.
Yeah, but the word backlash has.
Well, you can become
so.
famous out of being canceled. That's the crazy part.
True.
They tried to cancel
get your
Eminem.
own.
Look what happened.
You could be so controversial that you're actually not that controversial. I mean, I don't get the point of trying to be that hero. You know what I mean? Like, yo, just let people like say whatever the hell they want.
Thank you.
It's not affecting you really. Like, it's just words. If you don't want to listen to it, you know what? There's something called the pause button. You know, the space bar when you're watching a YouTube video.
Preach.
Well, that's the legalist. That's a legalistic argument. You know,
No,
it's like,
that's a moral argument. If
I think the moral argument should be based on the foundation of the person's moral framework. You know, like I personally I try not to think certain things, even, you know, just given my own like moral sort of set of boundaries. Like there are like thoughts I won't even entertain.
No, dude, because like the way you got to look at it is, as long as nobody's like physically harming anybody else and it's just a bunch of words, America literally has free speech. Like, say whatever you want.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a legalistic argument.
If you don't like what that other person's saying, don't let it in your life.
That's a legalistic argument, and the law that you're relying on there is libertarianism.
Because then, at that point, the other side of that is trying to control what people say and do.
Yeah.
Which is
well, like, you can control what you say and do.
Yeah, you as an individual.
So
you freaking commies.
Yeah. See, the way I try to look at it, I try to keep an authoritarian rule set on myself and a libertarian rule set on other people. So, like, you guys can say whatever you want, but I have a rule set that I live by that I won't bridge because I believe it's something greater than, just like my own sort of like
free
opinion.
Speech covers all of that.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. No, it's interesting because there's a merit to the authoritarian side where, you could say, well, in regards to, slay babies, as funny as that is to say, like, you could be a prude and say something like, well, by saying slay babies, you're normalizing it. And by normalizing it, you're
what do you think abortion
delegitimizing it as an issue. And it's like, yeah, but at the same time, to your guys' point, it's, you should have the right to say whatever it is you want. Either you have total free speech or you have no free speech.
See, I think everybody should just be responsible of their own actions.
Exactly.
Right?
Personal responsibility. That's
just responsible of your own actions. You can limit yourself all you want, but don't come into my life and tell me to limit myself. Because, unless you see there's like a concern, like, oh, yeah, if you keep doing that, you're going to, like, end up hurting yourself or me or my family or something like that.
If you're in a position in which the given individual who's acting freely can infringe on either yourself, your property, your livelihood, then it's okay to sort of like take action to limit what it is that they're doing, whether it be saying shit or doing shit. But that's where a good amount of discernment comes in. And I don't necessarily mean that from like some sort of hippy-dippy spiritual sense, but I mean just like, practically speaking, like knowing what to do in a given situation, because, it's easy to I suppose be on one end way too prudish and on the other end way too free with whatever it is you want to say. And that's where, having the right measure comes in.
Mm-hmm. Because you gotta have discernment in everything. Like, you can't just legally, you can say, all right, this guy can come in here and say F you Jesus, blah 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 blah, hold up Satan signs and all that crap. And as an American citizen, he has the right to do that. Mm. But the opposite is true too. A Christian can come in and say whatever they want, but one is obviously way more morally correct than the other one is. Mm. But legally, they all have the right to do it because they're not hurting anything except maybe your feelings or something. Yeah. But feelings aren't protected under the law.
Yeah.
Well, they're about to be.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I feel
censorship isn't the answer
I feel that I am a woman.
Particular issues that people like legitimately have. Because there are people who like legitimately say, like, just seriously racist and seriously like, just messed up shit, and they mean it.
Yeah, what's messed up is
unlike us.
You have the right to be racist. In America.
The right to be racist.
Verbally.
I mean, yeah.
Like, you can't own slaves and crap.
But you also suffer the consequences of your actions.
You can, if you're this much of a sick, twisted, dark person, if you genuinely have a grudge against another race, and you own a business, and it's your business, you have the right to not let them in there. Because it's your business.
Under certain circumstances, yeah. I'm aware of certain situations in which, like, if you're trying to go to a government building, they can't refuse you service because of your race. Because of
government, yeah, but I mean, like, the individual.
Yeah.
I'm not talking, like...
Yeah, if it's my property, like, I don't want you here.
Yeah.
Like, I can say it to anybody. It doesn't matter the race.
Of the reason.
Yeah. Like, you can't... You won't...
I don't like people with pink hair. Pink-haired people are not allowed on my property.
Yeah, like if some guy randomly walks onto your property, you're gonna be like, "Yo, what the hell are you doing here? Get out, man!"
And then that begs the question: well, like, why wouldn't you want like a pink-haired black person on your property, and you're turning away good business? And it's like, you could look at it from that point of view.
Yeah, that's a whole other issue entirely. Though they can shoot themselves in the foot and run out of business.
For me, business is business. It has nothing to do with my, my views on anything. It's just business is business. That's my money. It's bringing money to me. Good for me, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Good for you and good for me. You're getting a service and I'm getting your money. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that like we've kind of like flown over, for lack of a better term, like the two sides of the spectrum of looking at I suppose issues in this society. You have like
the what
in this society that we live in. You have the legalistic side and you have the moral side, and the legalistic side is dependent upon the law of the land, and the moral side is dependent on the value system that a person has.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Like, arguing morals is probably one of the hardest things to argue because everybody's morals are different.
I was gonna say at that point you're trying to decide what's best for everybody else.
Because the legal system has set rules that are written down, but the moral system is all based on who you are.
Yeah, there is though. An amount of objectivity to be found in the morality in the sense that there's a psychological aspect to it in which there are certain things that a person does that will chemically improve their like sort of neurophysiology.
Like if it's socially acceptable, and I'm not saying it is, but if it's socially acceptable in somewhere like Saudi Arabia or somewhere to like shoot camels or like just do really weird things like kill Jews or just like really like out there things.
Yeah, that's pretty out there.
If that's socially acceptable, obviously that's not socially acceptable in America.
Yeah, it's illegal.
But according to their laws, they're not breaking any of them in this hypothetical.
Yeah.
So our laws and their laws aren't going to match.
Yeah.
They're
laws
not
also
doing anything wrong in quotes, and we're not doing anything wrong. But clearly,
well, to play devil's advocate,
honestly, well, we're born with a very standard, basic set of like rules that guarantee our survival, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like we do have some sort of like innate what's it called, morality to us. Like we don't want to be killed, and therefore if we don't want to be killed, we wouldn't want to really kill anybody or kill anybody that's close to us.
Yeah.
Right? Because people that are close to us usually help us in our survival.
Mm-hmm. Which is funny you mention that because no one wants to die. Like that's like an urge, right? Like an innate thing is to avoid death, but everyone dies eventually.
Well, we're biologically wired, like Angelo said, to do things that promote life, and that implies that because this is actually something I've been writing about. I've been trying to write a paper about like the biological aspects of morality and trying to trace it using like our evolutionary sort of footprint all the way back throughout the evolutionary chain to see like if there's like some sort of, at least from a psychological standpoint, a fundamental aspect to morality from a materialistic point of view, because I could argue the Christian one all day long and that would only appeal to Christians, but the goofy research that I've done so far involves like looking at the like the human body's ability to understand and assess threats. Like apparently human beings have like built into their like just their physiology the ability to detect snakes Like we're biologically inclined to, like, almost like chickens. This is gonna sound weird, but if you take like a chick that's been raised in like a factory who hasn't seen like the sky, if you were to take that chick and expose it to like the shadow of a hawk or something like that, it would freak out, despite having no actual contact with that hawk in the past. Like, it's just biologically predisposed to avoid the flying bird that's going to eat it.
Yeah.
And we're similar to that with snakes, and other insects, as well as different predators. But, you know,
the devil was a snake.
Yeah, that's part of the metaphor. That's part of the metaphor. But anyways,
well, well, that's a whole different topic. Yeah. But
we might be able to get to that in a little bit, because I think I see where
you're going. Because the serpent, as it states in Hebrew, could mean two different things.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't literally mean the animal itself. It means like a very bad entity.
Yeah, the deceiver, the usurper, some bad mojo.
Although it is interesting how, and this is something that a psychologist named Jordan Peterson has talked about a lot, is that humans are very, like, we archetypally define reptilian slithering things as evil. Like the dragon.
Dragons and snakes and reptiles and turtles are all evil.
Exactly, especially those damn turtles.
Man, turtles are evil.
But no, again, that's like a bit of a different one, though. You know, to kind of like put a cap on my thought, because I've been talking for way too long. No cap.
Full blast.
There are biologically things that people can do morally that are on a hierarchy. Like, there are things that people could be doing that are better, and things that people could be doing that are worse. And it's not just an issue of, I have the right to. It's, well, should you be doing that, you know? That's an entirely separate issue that, you know, not a lot of people address, because, like, they just want to have the freedom to do things. And liberty isn't everything.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, so there's also, I mean, there's really one, like, moral law that you can, I guess, reason on your own. I guess as soon as, like, once you hit a certain age, like, just to say, like, you were born in the wild and really had no human interaction, like, your entire life, and then you see a human for once in your life, right?
Like Mowgli.
Yeah, like, you know.
There's this one law: don't fuck with fire.
Yeah, but, like, you know, if, like, it's really just like the rules of survival, right? You don't want anything to kill you. You're fighting for your life, so you wouldn't want anything stolen from you. You know, things like that, right? But there's this one rule that eventually you can reason on your own, especially if you're around other humans. Like, I wouldn't want that done to me, so I'm not going to do it to others. And that's
right. Do unto others.
That's like the golden rule. Yeah. That's like a part of morality that can be developed, but at the same time, you have reason not to care about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it is your survival after all. So whatever benefits you, if you have to kill somebody else for your survival, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Or in most cases, like in a survival situation, you will do it.
Yeah. But then that implies that there's a value to life. And, you know, you could easily make the assessment that there is nothing valuable about life whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because it ends. And it...
word.
And the things that we strive for end as well. And we live in something like a box that's trajectory is ending. So technically, it's all over. We just haven't hit it yet.
So we're basically free falling.
Yeah, basically.
And we're doing everything in our free fall, like cooking barbecues and stuff like that, until we hit the ground.
Yeah, basically.
And plummet at 1,000 miles per hour.
So why do anything if we're gonna hit the ground?
Because
that'd be great.
Because there's existentially more to life, and this is something that I've been thinking about in terms of trying to relate Christianity to, you know, the psychological. Because the final sort of evaluation of the, like, looking at things from a psychological point of view is that everything ends. It's all shit. Bye. You know, like, that's it. But the Christian standpoint is weirdly optimistic. It basically says that while there's an infinity of negative, there's also an infinity of positive, and it's from that infinity of positive that all things that are good and true came from. Like, the world that we exist in now has incalculable rules that sort of allow everything to function in its given way.
Yeah.
You could look at like the positioning of the Earth, for example. Like if it were to shift in a certain way,
1 inch away from the sun, we'd all freeze. 1 inch closer to the sun, we'd all burn.
Right. I had forgotten that.
I'm gonna go get something to drink, gentlemen. I'll be right back.
Okay. We'll probably just like keep hovering around this topic.
Hover. Just keep track of shit.
Yeah.
If you cover anything new.
Yeah. But as far as
these puppies.
As far as like that just ridiculous notion that despite everything is shit, there's still some good stuff. Like there's something to be found there because the good is real. And if we're living objectively, we have to recognize that good and align ourselves with it because, like you said, we're biologically predisposed to value life.
Yeah.
And that's not accidental. And if it is, then everything that works is accidental.
That also, comes down to the person. Like, we're weirdly complex creatures, unlike animals. Like, animals, yes, they all fight for their survival, for the most part, unless they're like, they have some mental disability or something like that. Like they all fight, right? They all scream when they're getting squished and trying to get killed, right? They all run away when you chase them. So they all want to survive. But humans are weird in the sense that, like, and oddly complex in the sense that we can instantly, like, lose value for our own lives and, just pretty much, like, not care if we die or not. So there are some people that just don't. Everybody fears, right? Fears what keeps us alive. But there are people that are, like, less caring about their life and the lives of others than other people, you know what I mean?
And, it's interesting you bring up the aspect, I suppose, of just suicide in general. Like the fact that we get depressed and we're like, damn, I wanna pull the trigger.
Yeah, I can end the pain.
Yeah. Like, what's weird is that statistically speaking, that happens more in first world countries than in third world countries. When all of our needs are, like, our biological needs are met and everything is going great, from a materialistic point of view, we should be set. We should be at our happiest and we should be at our most cohabitual, for lack of a better term. Like, we should all just get along because, like, we have all the food, we have all the resources. The men have the women have the men. Like, they're procreating. Life is just, it's going great. But we're still dissatisfied. There's still some appetite that's instinctive in humans that's not being satiated. And there are no appetites, biologically speaking, to which there's no food for. So it would be neglectful, at the very least, to ignore that hunger.
Well, we become bored. So, like, we're always searching for something to do, something to chase after, right?
Yeah.
Like, just naturally, humans are made to, like, chase after something, always fight for something in their survival, especially. But when we're given everything since birth, let's just say, you're given everything, you're predisposed for depression and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, one of the reasons why you could be is because you no longer feel the need to survive, right? Because
your purpose is violated.
Because you're basically on life support. Right, from everything around you. They're just feeding you. They're giving you water. You don't have to work for a damn thing.
Yeah,
like, you just live. That's it. And everything is just being handed to you. Right, like, you're being spoon fed.
Yeah.
So, like, that kind of takes away your survival instinct, and you no longer want to live. That's just one of the reasons, right?
Yeah.
But that's why a lot of people that are given everything and have everything already are more susceptible to, like, depression and stuff like that.
Well, it's because, like, the faculties of the mind that would be exercised in striving for survival aren't being worked. So, like, any weak muscle,
Yeah, it's like atrophy.
Yeah, it's going to atrophy.
Your mind atrophies.
But, like, at the same time, because I think that's a great observation, like the fact that our minds in their survival state gets weaker because of something like just existential complacency or something like that. Like, we're just getting hand-fed everything. Like, that's true. At the same time, though, a lot of the reasons why people fight and they contend with each other, it isn't really for survival. People have tried to make the observation that the only reason why humans have ever fought in the past was for resources, and that's just not true. There are reasons that correlate to the moral that leads to like why people fight. And I should actually...
Well, we fight because...
I'm going to make one of the bullet points. Why do we fight?
We fight because we want to live, like instinctually want to live in a world that is ideal for us. So when we see a world that is not ideal for us, and there are differences in what we want with what somebody else wants, now you have a problem, and now you want to enforce the world that you want to live in on that person.
True. Like you want to impose your own rule set that you think has worked for you on this person.
Yeah.
Like, now it's going to work.
But we're all individuals, and some people don't understand that we're all individuals.
Yeah. Well, that kind of reminds me of, I mean, not to drift into the Christian side of things again in a direct way, but it reminds me of this section in the Bible where like the Apostle Paul is talking about like eating meat, like because apparently like for sects of the Jews like it was a sin to eat meat, and it's like, oh, okay. And he said that they shouldn't condemn another person who eats meat because that person is under, roughly speaking, he's under his own set of rules, and he's not like breaking any sort of like serious, rule. Like he's not harming his conscience in any way, and he's not doing anybody any harm by eating meat. So there are certain things where like it's just like a petty squabble, like if you think it's like okay to, I don't know, like listen to country music, for example, like modern country music, which I despise. Like I'm not gonna say, Angelo, we cannot be friends anymore, and you are my lifelong enemy for listening to modern country music. Like that's ridiculous. But I mean that's a shallow example, granted. But everybody has like their own sort of personal rule set, which is almost indicative of a function. Like it almost defines that person in terms of like almost like a tool, if that makes sense. I know that's like a really weird way to put it.
Your tool?
Like, yeah, your tool. No, like, because, I mean, not everybody is meant to be like a musician. Not everybody's meant to be a physician. Not everybody's meant to be a mechanic. Not everybody's meant to be just one thing. Like, everybody's different in their own way to facilitate a certain goal.
Function, yeah.
So...
Yeah, we're all... Different people are more... They're better at certain things than others. Like just their brain structure, like the way they think. Some people think more mechanically. Some people think more, methodically, I guess you could say. Like some people reason a little bit better than others. Some people think more logical. Some people think more emotional.
Yeah, like I may be able to play guitar pretty well, but I have a shitty sense of direction. Like I get lost very easily. So that's just one example of you being talented in one way and being not so talented in another. Like there are just proclivities that are unique to each person, and it's like it's cool. We should celebrate those differences, not like clobber each other over the head with like you're
useless.
Yeah, you're not me, so you're useless.
There should be more of me in the world.
Yeah,
dead.
There should be more of me.
Death to you.
Well, I think in a lot of ways it all goes back to ego,
Yeah.
Like, pride, I think, is just one of those things that where I, like, the more I think about it, it's like, man, this is shit,
Yeah.
Like, just speaking in, like, just large terms, like, it's one thing to have confidence in something like yourself, but it's another entirely to just be completely ego-driven and just, like, egocentric. It's like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, no. I mean, this goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning. Like, be whoever you want to be. Like, as long as you're not affecting me and not getting in my way of, getting through my life, as long as you're not crossing paths into my journey, I don't care. Like, do whatever the heck you want. Like all those, we have people that are gay and transsexual and bisexual and the 35 different genders or whatever, maybe the 345 different genders. I don't know, one of them.
Just
right?
put like an infinity symbol.
Yeah, an infinity symbol.
A rainbow.
As long as it's a word in the dictionary or makes a sound out of your mouth, you can be that gender.
Unicycle-sexual.
Like, yeah, like I don't know, piano-sexual or something. But anyway,
just play the piano.
I mean, like, I don't care what you do, right? But don't come to me and like start like forcing your ideology upon me. I don't care, man.
Yeah.
I just want to go on with my life. Like, I don't have a problem with you doing whatever the heck you want to do, but don't come over here and be like, oh yeah, I'm gay. I don't care if you're gay. I get it. All right, you like males.
Yeah.
I don't like you.
And I don't have to. Yeah.
Like, it's not my fault I don't like you.
Yeah.
I like females.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
and maybe I would like you more if you shut up about everything you thought was right.
yeah, like I've met gay people, like gay men that one did not act like a typical gay man, right? Like you didn't know that he was gay until he told you he was gay, but he never told us until like it was a group of friends and I, like he just told us one day, oh yeah, by the way, I'm gay. Like I was like, what? I was like, well, that explains a lot, but
Yeah.
but I was like, he never really like forced it upon us that he was gay. He just casually told us one day that he was gay, and he acted like a normal person, right? Like he liked sports teams, he liked, like everything a normal person would like, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody likes their own things. That he likes certain music, whatever, right? But like, there are some people out there that are just like pride everything, like, oh my gosh.
I think in a lot of ways, like people. I mean, this is going to be like a huge generalization, but like, we're not speaking in terms of just like the U.S. specifically. Like, everybody is sort of within like their own sort of like social media induced echo chamber, and within that echo chamber they can put whatever the hell they want in it, and as a result of that they expose themselves to, they pursue their own ideologies within their social media bubble, and they lose touch with reality. And the reality is, like, nobody really cares about their sexuality, but because they're in the social media bubble of constantly scrolling through Twitter, through Facebook, Instagram, and they just see like pride everything, and like that's their world, and like they live in that more than they do like the actual real world.
Yeah.
And they interact with people more in that world than they do in, like the actual. Like they just lose touch with reality, and they become just in and out machines for their given ideology.
Honestly, first world, like, that's a first world problem right there.
Yeah.
Because, like, other countries, people are fighting for their survival. They don't even have time to think about who the heck they are. Like, they don't give a crap.
Yeah, no,
like,
they live in the real world.
Yeah, like, here we are, like, oh, who am I? The world revolves around me.
Yeah.
Right?
What's my identity? Who am I, man?
No, you know what I really don't get? The most... Alright. Cut.
Take two.
No, but like, what was I gonna say?
Well, we were talking about first world problems.
Oh no, but like, people out here, like, this is what I don't get, right? The weirdest thing ever, right? You're a female, right? Like, full on female, don't have a doubt about your sexuality, right?
Yeah.
Alright? They put their pronouns as she, her in her bio. I'm like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah. It's like, I couldn't tell, thank you. No, that's just solidarity for the transgender ideology.
Yeah.
Like that's all that is. Like they're accepting that people can be, verbally speaking, whatever it is they want to be. Like if I say I am this, and this is defined by traits X, Y, and Z, then that's who I am. Just because I said so. As opposed to, like, things I actually do.
You can't change your Y chromosome to an X or your X chromosome to a Y.
Like, think about how...
No matter how much surgery you get.
Like, think about how jargon-centric... This is going to be a weird point, but, like, think about how jargon-centric the transgender ideology is. So, basically what I mean by that, it's like, they rely on non-cisgender terms like... just like pansexual. You know, they're attracted to all the bajillion genders.
Yeah.
And each of those genders means in essence the exact same thing with just a very shallow delineation, because to be pansexual, biologically speaking, is to be bisexual.
To be pansexual is like whatever. Like
yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you were to look at the long list of genders that exist, which are more like, it's less an issue of the biology so much as it is like what the person's into sexually.
Yeah.
Like that's all that means. Like, and they put their primary focus on that which is sexually stimulating to them, and they make that their definitive sort of like biological name. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
Like nobody cares what you're into.
I don't care if you're
partner.
I don't care if you're an attack chopper, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't care if you like to be beaten by bats and pissed on to be, you know, sexually sort of.
I don't care if you have to put your dick in a blender.
Yeah, exactly. It's the only thing that works.
It's the ultimate beta.
The forbidden juice.
Oh no.
Yeah. With that being said, though, I mean, I don't know. It's just, it confuses me, for one, that we've devolved to this state where, like, things are just hypersexualized. Like, I don't know. Like, I know that's probably like a weird point and maybe a bit finicky sounding, but like, I don't know. Like, it doesn't make sense to me that, you know, we've become, societally speaking, so, like, hypersexualized. It's like, maybe the apathy, you know, and the boredom that you talked about before, just, like, on an existential level, just set in so hard that, you know, people just fled to, like, the most primally engaging thing, which is just, like, sex.
Yeah, because, I mean, people are out here to feel something, especially in first world countries, like, where you don't have to really fight for your survival, unless you're, like, on the streets and homeless.
Yeah.
Like, or unless you're, like, you know, a low-income worker and stuff like that, and you're constantly thinking about how to make more money. But, like, people that, you know, they already have money and stuff like that, especially, you know, I don't know, I guess, teens that are, like, born into rich families and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really, sex, drugs, and alcohol is the only thing that makes them feel something, and that's that, like, and sex is the most natural thing that makes us feel something.
Yeah.
Like euphoria for like a few seconds.
I mean, that implies a lack of purpose and a lack of meaning to, I mean, life itself, which we innately believe has meaning to it. And, you know, I don't mean to talk in circles or anything, but I don't think it's an accident that we believe that life has meaning, because of the very existence of meaning separate from, like, our own perception, like our own self-perception, if that makes sense. Like, we acknowledge the meaning and purpose and function of, say, a guitar, piano, a freaking game controller, of a game even.
Yeah.
But, like, when we try to reflect that on ourselves, there's a barrier because we don't truly know ourselves. Because we're far more complex than a freaking remote. I mean, there are more neurological connections in the brain, so they being a neuroscientist say, than there are, like, subatomic particles in the universe. Like, we're incredibly, incredibly complex creatures. And even though we have the brain fully mapped out, that doesn't mean we know, like, jack shit about it, truly.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's still a very young field.
Because, I mean, humans, like, we often tend to think, you know, we're kind of, like, useless to the world, in the sense that, like, the world can go on without humans in it.
And if anything, we're, like, causing problems. Like,
environmentally, we're destroying the world more than we're helping it.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, however, like, you see bees and stuff like that, right? They actually serve a purpose, and their sole purpose in life is to pollinate.
Yeah.
And to keep crops growing. So
they do a damn good job.
Yeah, and well, now they're
dying.
Yeah, they're dying out, like, but
because of people.
Yeah, because of us. So, like, yeah, we don't really serve a pretty good purpose at all in the world, but we're still here, right? And I mean, that's where people come into religion and stuff like that, right? Because now you have religion, you have something to live for, rather than just having an atheistic point of view and being like, why the hell am I here?
Yeah.
But what I tell people, right, I have atheist friends. I've had atheist friends that have wanted to kill themselves, right? And I'm like, look, man, even if you're an atheist, right, and you believe there's nothing after death and nothing before life, right? You're here in the world, right? Just live it, right? You only get one chance to do this.
Yeah.
One chance. Might as well just live it. Like, whether it goes bad or not, eventually it's gonna all end. So, like, don't end it early. Just let something take you, because like there's no point of like just ending in, or well, there's no point of living either. In that case, but I mean, like, you only get one chance at it, right? That you only get one chance of the pleasures that come with being alive. Right? Once you're dead, there's no pleasure to it. Well, I mean, the only pleasure to it is that you don't have to deal with this bullshit anymore.
Yeah, exactly. That's why even on a very bare bones level, there's like little pain to be had in actually dying, because it's like it's a relief.
But honestly, an atheistic point of view.
Oh, you're finally back.
Hello.
One drip of water ended up. We ended up doing some other thing.
Oh, gotcha.
But I mean,
have we killed the Jews yet?
No, we have not, unfortunately.
Yeah, no.
Wait, hold up. What?
Oh, wow.
I mean, we are Jewish, so
yeah,
I can make that joke.
Sturman Warford Johnny's back, apparently.
Obergruppenführer. But no, like,
I am the anti-baby.
as we were saying, like, an atheistic point of view is probably like the scariest point of view to have, because
if you're wrong, you're fine.
No, because like it's just so scary. Like, that person has no value at all for their life or for other humans' life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Why do you say that?
Because they have no, like, there's nothing holding them accountable to what they do.
Yeah, they just exist.
They just live, right? They're just another creature in the world, right? So they can kill as many people as they want and
existentially speaking,
not have the fear of being judged when in the afterlife.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of serial killers and a lot of mass shootings were done by people who are atheists because they don't care about what happens.
Guys?
The ones who do it in the name of religion.
Well, yes, the ones who do it in the name of religion, but they have a flawed ideology at that point.
Yeah.
Like, their God glorifies murder.
And we've talked about this on the podcast before.
I know they've made a joke about this, but in the Muslim religion, if you commit suicide, you get 72 virgins when you go to heaven. Like, that's their thing.
It
does not say whether they are male or female.
True.
Oh, shoot.
But no, because, like...
Think about it.
What if they have both?
In a weird way...
Tranny virgins.
Like, the atheistic point of view doesn't even really make sense, almost psychologically speaking, because they say that, in essence, everything is material. There is no supernatural, there is no immaterial, everything is just as we see it. Yet everything that we see, we now know because of, like, quantum mechanics, is controlled by different, like, literal forces and different things that actually manipulate reality as we know it. So that point of view just isn't compatible with, of all things, modern science. Like
how time is completely invisible, yet somehow it's physical because there are points in the universe
and how
that
it's,
are timeless.
Light speed,
yeah, like,
or even the fact, like, atoms hold everything together, right? But if you look with a really good microscope, you can see all the atoms moving around.
Yeah, they're not actually.
They're all moving around. Why isn't everything else moving around? What's keeping them together? What's keeping them from exploding?
In him we move and have our being.
Well, I guess I'm no scientist. I'm no, like, physical scientist here, but
I am.
I'm just kidding. Magnetic forces, right? Magnets are just invisible.
What's holding those magnets?
Yeah, who knows?
And why are things designed intelligently?
And I mean, just even evolution makes no sense. Like, just in the Big Bang Theory, especially, makes no sense.
I've heard
like,
people try and say that the Big Bang, like, they try to combine the Big Bang with Christianity, and they say when God created the Earth, that was the Big Bang.
It's
possible.
A possible theory, because it doesn't say how he created the Earth. It just says he created the Earth.
Well, I mean, like,
so therefore it spawned into.
Yeah.
Because at one point it wasn't, and then it was.
He was like spawn point, bam,
well,
Earth.
Like, I don't know, because, like, one way you could look at it is almost from, like, an archetypal point of view. So, like, an archetypal point of view. So, like, you can view things almost
archetype,
in a from the standpoint of, like, predictive elements that play themselves out in reality that are traceable almost on a scientific level. So like you could take a look at, you know, the idea of life itself as being, biologically speaking, like the ultimate good. And that was actually the point of the thing that I was trying to write, was that the predication of morality was that which promotes life. Like that is what's defined as moral. If it promotes life, then it's good.
Okay, so
if
what
it
about
takes
abortion?
away life, then it's bad. It takes away life, so
Only
depending on the situation, it's
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, I was gonna
If
say-
it harms the life of the mother, then that's 2 deaths. So it would be the lesser of 2 evils.
I was gonna say, I was talking to
you know.
Angelo, and the only way I would ever condone an abortion, like it matter, like it matters what I say, but the only way I could see it as acceptable is if the mother was going to die.
I mean, that's all down to the individual, I guess.
Yep.
Like, you know, like I said before, like do what you want, right?
Yeah.
But accept
Go
the
with your
consequences.
Yeah, go with your conscience.
Yeah, like we live in a world, we live in a society. No,
We live
but,
in a society.
but we live in a world where like we have too many different points of view. Where I can't just say, "Oh, this is the set way to
I'll
view
do you one better.
abortion."
It's not that we have so many different points of view. It's that everyone who has a point of view that's different from everybody else's all has a way to put it out there for the world to hear.
Yeah.
Like, everyone has a voice now. I'm not saying they didn't before, but with social media, like, you could put anything out there. You don't even have to put your name. You don't have to put anything. You can just...
You can randomly become famous.
I'm going to make a really weird statement here. I'm going to say that there are only 2 fundamental choices that everybody has, and you can trace them back.
Live or die.
To live or die. Yeah,
Yes.
I was thinking about that
Choose
too.
life or death.
Yeah.
And you can do that on a moral level. You can do that on a legalistic level. You can do that on a pragmatic level.
You
But
can do that on a day-to-day
you can
level.
either-
Do I put peanut butter with my cheese?
like
Or do I
to
put jelly?
Or
like-
do I
like-
put sulfur in it?
like to put a Christian twist on it, you know, you can either choose to turn towards God, or you could choose to turn away from God, and that's the fundamental existential choice that everybody has, and it's
And-
you know,
Because I know
And
we
listen,
outlined
man,
in Genesis.
even if let's just say, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, the Bible is flawed," right?
Yeah.
Even if the Bible is flawed and like it was written by man, right? There's still, I believe there's still a God out there. Even if it isn't the Bible's God, right? There's still a God out there,
Yeah.
right? And he's all powerful because he created all this. So therefore, I'm gonna praise him.
Yeah.
I'll pray. I don't know. I know the God I'm praying to is the
Yeah.
one that created all this, right?
Yeah.
'Cause there's
It's a
only
God
one
of
God.
life. It's a God of truth.
Yeah, and I know that this God does not live within time, right? Because so a lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, who made God?" Right? Where did he start? Like
Yeah.
that's why the Big Bang is so believable. And I'm like, no, where did the Big Bang come from? Right?
Yeah, it had
Like,
to come from someplace
Yeah.
outside of time and light itself.
Yeah.
It takes more faith to be an atheist than
I'm
it
like,
does to be a
why would?
Christian.
And I tell everybody this, like, why would an all-powerful being want to live in the cage that he created, right? Because he created a cage, let's just say, right? I'll put it like this: he created a cage and put us in it, which is our universe, time, space, and matter, right? Why would he want to be?
Christian now.
Why would he want to live within time, space, and matter if it would only limit him?
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes, he can make himself, I guess, all powerful. Well, he is all powerful in the sense that he can be set apart from that, even if he lives within it, right? But like, nothing created him because there was no time, and to say that something was created is to imply that there was time associated
And
with
to
it.
imply that someone was there to create it.
Yeah,
Yeah, because we're kind of talking about infinity as of right now, the place where the finite came from, where everything material just stemmed from, and it's like it's impossible to know for sure, but we can make definitive judgments based on like what it's not.
yeah.
So, you know, that's I mean, the very topic of God is a weird one because people don't know how to perceive him.
I mean, I think it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
I have my simple way of viewing him.
Well,
He lives out of time, space, and matter,
Yeah.
and he created all this. Therefore, he must be all powerful.
Yeah.
Therefore, I must serve him and fear him because I am not as powerful as he is, nor will I ever be,
Right.
unless he makes me that powerful, which would be kind of ironic.
Yeah.
Because for the one thing, I know we don't have a lot of time left.
Yeah.
But the one thing I always struggled with growing up was the people like atheists or agnostics, where they're not worshiping God, and they're not worshiping the devil. That's how I saw it when I was a little kid, right? Like, they just didn't believe in anything. I'm like,
They believe in themselves.
How can that person be bad if they don't
believe in
follow
myself.
either one? Like, they're just doing their own thing. But then as I got older, It was like, if you're not following God, it doesn't matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're still like, you're still gonna wind up in hell. You could donate to charities, you can build churches, you can do all this other stuff, but if you're not following God from somewhere in your heart that matters, like I said, you could like reject God, reject the devil, but by rejecting God, you're automatically embracing the devil, even if you don't see it.
Yeah. Because
the whole point of the greatest lie, you've heard the saying before, the greatest lie that the devil ever told was that God doesn't exist.
Yeah.
By negating that point, it's not like a matter of choice in a way. Like, obviously we have free will, we're human beings, we can do whatever we want, we can choose to follow God or not. But unless you want to go to hell, God's the only way out. So from a Christian point of view, you don't have a choice if you get the big picture. Like, obviously you can get the big picture and still make the choice to walk away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and also
you have only one good choice.
And I mean, people also arguing, they're like, oh, God is evil because why would he make like living beings and just to pretty much torture them and say, oh yeah, if you don't follow me, if you don't serve me, like, you're screwed, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, he gave us, like, within a cage, he gave us our liberty, right? And our freedom within that cage, right? And we get to do whatever we want with it, but at the end of the day, it all comes back to him, right? Because he made us for himself, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to come out here and think that I'm better than the all-powerful being that created me. I have nothing. Like,
yeah, because, like, he created the very mechanism by which you would make that judgment.
Yeah.
So, like that wouldn't even... In terms of, like, a hierarchy, like, it just doesn't...
My opinion is irrelevant.
Yes.
Yeah. It's completely irrelevant to him. Like, I mean, maybe it's not right. Maybe he's like, oh, I'll hear you out, you know what I mean? But he could choose to say, I don't care, right?
Well, what's weird is that this is...
I can't make up a nature for our God. That's what... I can't make him ideal for me.
Yeah.
It all goes back to the using the Force in Star Wars analogy.
Well, like... He's the potter, we're the clay, and the clay can't look at the potter and go, why did you make me like this? We can only function as we're made. And what's interesting is that the Bible says that we are gods. And it's difficult to quantify that because it's like, okay, well, why don't I have my own universe? Why can't I freaking summon lightning? It's like, I'm no god. It's like, no, that's not what that means. It means, in terms of like the Hebrew, we are Elohim, which means we have something along the lines of spirits. Like, we can create, and we have that sort of...
the ability to bring life.
We have the essence of God within us. Like, the mind, that like the...
Yeah, because he made us...
The intelligence of God.
That's why the angels were jealous of us.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't create life, and they had to take on dark forms and screw around with the chicks on Earth to have, like, their own...
Nephilims.
Literally their own god complex.
Yeah. Well, the Satan, I think his primary sort of, and this is, again, this
pure
actually...
speculation.
Yeah, it's difficult to say, for sure, like, what Satan's mindset is. But I think Satan as being, like, the vehicle for everything evil, everything leading to death inevitably, he knows that he's going to fail, and he's just going to drag as many of the creations that God made in his infinite sort of brilliance.
Yeah, he's doomed to fail.
Yeah, but his plan is going to spite him by taking down as many people as possible.
I'm just grateful that we don't live in a universe where it was created by two opposing gods.
Yo, can you imagine?
Where it was just a constant war. And it's like, we didn't know which one was going to win. It was just uncertain.
What's weird is that God let everything happen that has happened up until this point.
Holocaust.
Even, like, talking, like, in terms of, like, the Christian sort of bubble of things, like, he let Satan rebel. He let, Lucifer take a third of the angels with him. And I think the reason why he did that, and this isn't, something that I've personally thought about, because it was something I've doubted for the longest time. It's like, well, why would a good God allow any of this to happen? It's like, I mean, after listening to a guy talk about it...
well, he left us up to our will.
Yeah. But, like, in terms of, like, Lucifer specifically. I think he let what happened to him happen because if he had just squashed him, just, like a bug,
like he could have,
as he could have, I believe that on an existential level, everything would be compelled to follow God purely by fear and not at all by love. Because
it's like, if we don't follow him, we're screwed.
Yeah, basically.
Which, I mean,
and that completely changed
that's how I think of it.
Yeah,
that's how I think of it. I mean, he's God. He can do whatever he wants.
That's not a wrong way to look at it, because it's the truth.
But there's a love to God, though, that I think is understated, I think, in certain pockets of Christianity. And I don't want to belabor this point too much, but
we're already over the hour mark.
Yeah. God is defined in the Bible as being a God of life, which, I mean, we've already covered. A God of truth, which, we've kind of, hovered over. But he's also a God of love. And the Bible says a lot about love. And the Bible has a different presentation of love than what's commonly understood in Western civilization. It's not like, ooh, I want to, copulate with you all night long,
I want to enter you.
Yes.
What is love?
No, loving,
baby,
biblically speaking, I mean, it's a joke, but, it's knowing somebody. It's becoming them, for lack of a better term. It's wanting to be like them and them wanting to be like you. And having that sort of, almost like a co-parasitic relationship. I know that kind of sounds bad. But having a relationship in which you feed the other person and the other person feeds you and you mutually build each other up. That's the love that's talked about in the Bible, and that's a choice.
Parasites.
Yeah, it's a choice. It's not.
You're my favorite weirdo. Let's be parasites together.
Yeah, it's a choice, and it's not a feeling, And that, I think, is directly opposed to the normal emotional view of love, where it's ooh, I'm staring at this person and I'm getting horny. Suddenly I'm in love. It's no. No kimosabi. That is not what that is.
Closing remarks.
Closing remarks.
Wait, hold up.
Yeah.
Well, this is why I also think God loves us, right?
Yeah.
God doesn't have to do the things he does for us.
True.
He does, but he does them anyway. So there has to be some sort of love right there.
Yeah. He says, God doesn't have to do the things that he does. But he
could just make life actual hell for all of us.
Yeah, he could just be like, oh, I want to flick you off this cliff today.
He's like, potato chip truck coming for you.
Guess who's losing their legs?
Basically, me every time I play Skyrim.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
But yeah, closing remarks.
Yeah.
Well, you were gone for a really long time, so you should probably start.
No, I'll say mine for last, because I want to hear what y'all say and then try to hope.
I don't even know what closing remarks are, so you guys got to lead me into that one.
Well,
it's just how we wrap it up.
Yeah, we just say shit.
Oh, so we got to wrap?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm white.
You gotta have an auto-tune thing. I'm going, ain't no one, ain't no banging, I'm banging no white. I ain't a minute, a baby go cry.
But yeah, closing remarks. I don't know. I thought this was a really good conversation. I mean, I get a kick out of these, honestly. I think we understand each other's mindsets better after having them, and the Venn diagram of our knowledge just pulls together in a much more effective way.
There wouldn't be a Venn diagram because we all kind of share the same ideas.
That's true.
Look at me and him play Halo today. We were on.
Yeah, you guys were mimicking each other almost perfectly.
Yeah.
With the exception of Johnny grabbing the assault rifle towards the end, you guys were plasma pistol, grenade, rocket launcher, needler, sniper.
Needler.
Hey, just I guess a future suggestion for podcast, right? If I ever join you guys again.
Yeah.
Which you will before you leave.
Yeah. But even if when I'm home, if we ever
yeah, we
if you can do it with your Wi-Fi, right? We can always just find a streaming service where we can all talk. But but we should react to things. I mean, I guess that sounds like really stupid because everybody does it.
Yeah.
But like we should like find like certain videos just for like start it off with like a reaction to something, and we just talk about it and branch off from there.
Yes.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Because like that can start us off like without having that awkward tension in the beginning where like we don't know what to talk about.
How's everybody doing today? Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to be here.
White people
stab me with a stapler in the eyeballs, like just,
white people.
Yeah. No, I'd say my closing remarks. This is always the weird part for me. This is why it sounds like you were hitting a vape. I wanted to go last, and I would say that mine would have to be just die. No.
Screw you and die.
Yeah, life is meaningless. World of shit. No. I'm drawing
Say
blank.
something.
In conclusion, it all comes down to the individual. And God is all powerful, and He can do whatever He wants.
No, that's actually a perfect thing, because I was trying to form something like that, and in my head is at the end of the day, we all have a choice just to make sure you make the right one. And that's not like some covert mafia shit.
Yeah.
For like, do what I say or you're going to get whacked. Like, you literally, like, just make sure you make the right choice.
Everybody's on their own path, but it's all going in a similar direction, which is towards life. Well, I mean, inevitably towards death, but then life, and then, you know, like the goodness that comes with life. Or permadeath. Yes. Choose life or death.
Peace.
Don't die. Bye.
Stay safe, don't do drugs. Stay drugs, don't do safe. Do drugs, don't stay safe.